Hello, legions of undead listeners. I'm Derek, that's Noah, and on this episode of A Bite of, we are talking Marvel Zombies.
That's me as a zombie, podcasting still.
That was great.
Would we still podcast if we were zombies?
I think we absolutely would. All these zombies in this world, they feel like not only do they eat flesh, but they also have things to do. So even when you're undead, you still have a to-do list.
That's true. I have thoughts about that, though.
Oh.
We'll get into it. Before that, make sure you're following, make sure you're subscribing. If you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment below who your favorite zombie was. And spoilers ahead for Marvel Zombies, all 4 episodes, the MCU. Just, be warned. If you haven't seen it, watch it, and come back.
It's all on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let us officially take a bite of Marvel Zombies, created by Zeb Wells. Earth's mightiest heroes come together in a last-ditch effort to save humanity as hordes of zombies led by a Sokovian queen claim the planet. Hard T. All right, so what did you think of this 4-part mini-series?
I had so much fun with it. I love that they leaned into the gore of it, the R rating of it. You can tell that it was originally planned as a movie and they chopped it up into 4 parts. I think it upped some of the animation, the facial expressions I had an issue with in like the earlier What If, but it seems like in this they really upped it. Voice cast was amazing, really gross. It scratched that like zombie itch that you would have, especially we're getting into like Halloween season, so scary movie season. So it was a perfect little prelude to the season.
Yeah, I personally am a fan of zombie movies in general. I really enjoy them. So I thought this was really fun as well. One of my favorite things about it was seeing these characters in a situation that we would have never seen them before, and I think that's what's so fun about the What If series in general is that, I think that with a lot of these Marvel movies, there's a big bad, there's a villain, they're fighting them, and they're all alive for the most part. Whereas in this, it was like taking on a genre, right? Which it's really the superhero genre, but now infusing it with zombies. And so being able to take those characters and seeing how they would survive in this type of world and what that would look like, I think was a really fun thing to do and to see.
Yeah.
And as far as it being chopped up into 4 pieces, do I think that there were places where the tempo was lost? I do. Especially in episode 3 when they get to New Asgard. Like, I thought that was a little slow. Whereas if it was a full feature-length film, we're taking a breath before the final climax. But in an episode, it just felt a little like we're dragging our feet here.
Yeah. Sometimes they do breathers like that, but in a short mini series, whatever it's going to be, it's more apparent, right? Mm-hmm. I will say though, with the What If, if this is what we can expect from like branches or spinoffs from What If, I'm very happy about it because I didn't necessarily like how the What If series ended. I think that they lost the magic of like what If is and became more of its own like connected universal thing. But if we were to get things just branching off from it, that's great because I think this was a lot of fun. Do I think it functions well as a season 1? I don't know, because if there's no season 2 planned, it doesn't really work too well for me personally. And that's with the ending.
I'm kind of wondering now, maybe I should have been more eagle-eyed. Did the Watcher show up at all in this?
Oh man, probably.
Right? Floating in the stars somewhere?
Let us know. Did you spot the Watcher? Because so far in most of the Marvel animations, the Watcher has showed up in.
Yeah.
And it would be weird if he didn't show up in this because it's directly from What If. I don't know. But yeah, let us know.
He must have been.
Yeah, did you spy him? So I guess like talking about, did it work for you as far as like, as a miniseries, do you want more of this?
It's interesting because I didn't personally have as much of a problem with the ending that you did. So do I need more of this specific thing? I would welcome it. Do I need it? I don't necessarily know. I do think though it would be fun to see other twists in the Marvel universe, right? Not so much this donning my suit and saving the world, but what does it look like when there's other dire circumstances?
Well, that's the beauty of What If, right? And even in the comic line, it was just fun to see like, what if X, Y, and Z had happened, then this would happen. So it is a bummer that like What If doesn't exist, but I'm hopeful that we'll get stuff like this, because I believe like the two like pillars that are holding up Marvel animation is X-Men 97 and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So there's all this room for Eyes of Wakanda, for Marvel Zombies. I'm excited to see what they do with the animation part of it, but what stories we're going to get from that.
Yeah.
But going into like the cast of this, I was so excited to see Kamala Khan and Wanda Maximoff as the leads pretty much in this, because they're so popular. And if you think about the time that this was like being made and what the thought process was at that time, it's like the end of phase 4. So like Endgame and everything happened, and it's like ushering in the new guard while the old Avengers are kind of like dying, but like missing half their body.
Yeah.
So like it was fun to see like all of these characters we haven't seen in a minute or don't know what their futures hold.
Right. And so that's an interesting thing for me as well. I mean, just thinking about it, it feels like, did they throw these characters together because they do have these big question marks over their heads? I mean, I don't want to sound pessimistic about it, but these are these series of Ms. Marvel 1. You know, what happened to Kate Bishop after Hawkeye? What happens to Riri now after the first season of Ironheart? So there's just all these questions. Even Shang-Chi, where is Shang-Chi 2? You know?
That's a touchy subject. Eternals, Icarus was in here.
Right. So it's all just so like, they're like, oh, well, people are asking about these characters. We got to give them something, you know? Again, that's very pessimistic.
I feel like it is, though, like almost like a looking glass into that time when they were making it, because these were the characters on everybody's mind, right? And it's just funny to see them all here. And it's like, oh, I did miss these characters.
Yeah.
I did miss Katie. I did miss Shang-Chi. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And seeing that dynamic play out on screen again, and even closer than they were in the movie, which was really cool to see.
One that is a big, I think in this series was a huge high, but a very odd choice was Blade / Moon Knight. So like we find out that like Mark Spector got in this universe. And so Blade, who has Mahershala Ali's face, but not voiced by him, as the avatar of Khonshu. I loved this character so much. I loved like how they were playing Blade / Khonshu. I thought it was really funny when, you know, Valkyrie could see Khonshu, but nobody else could see it. But it's so weird to not have Mahershala voice the character, but it has his face. This would have been our first like introduction to Blade as Mahershala, and I don't know, it's just very odd to me why they didn't do that. Almost everybody else came back. Even Elizabeth Olsen came back, but not
Absolutely.
Mahershala.
Yeah, I know. It is really interesting, and you have to wonder with everything that's going on with the Blade movies if it has something to do with that. I mean, there's something even to be said, like maybe Mahershala Ali was going to do the VO, but then when everything happened, they had to bring someone in last minute.
Yeah.
You know, so who knows? But I was excited to see that so many people did come back. And, you know, Iman Vellani, even in animated format, when she's just lending her voice, she really is so much fun.
It really works as like a main protagonist in something like this. When the mission is to get something from point A to point B and to have hope, you got to have the Young Avengers or Champions, whatever they're going to call it. And it's starting out with Riri, Kate, and Kamala. Oh, man, we got little tiny tastes of it, like at the end of end of the Marvels. And it's like, I want them to so bad to be on screen together.
Yeah.
And this was like a fun tease.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I really love that first trio that we got. I was secretly hoping we would be with them the whole time. But I will say, with the loss of, well, the definite loss of Kate, the question mark loss of Riri, we don't necessarily know what happened to her. But I think for Kamala, she really had to go through some emotional journeys.
It's almost
in this entire thing.
It almost mirrored her show, where she had to kind of come into her own. She came into being a hero, interacting with all these heroes that she looks up to. So it was a weird like mirror to her season, which I thought was interesting. Like, do you think her pluckiness worked in this setting?
I do because I think that it was such a serious and heavy setting that we needed someone to lighten the mood. But I do think that throughout her journey. That not that pluckiness went away, but it was almost like she had to mature over time because she was literally watching her friends and comrades die in front of her. And so she's really experiencing the loss that can happen when you're a hero. It's not just wearing a jacket with their patches on it, but now when you know those people, things that are very serious can happen to them.
Yeah, it's like you hold them up as like this immortal thing that's never gonna be gone, and then you're literally seeing them be gone in front of you.
Be gone.
Well, and like speaking of the deaths and stuff in this show, I think they did a really good job of consistently raising, but like the stakes, but also making the emotional weight of them still hit. Even though it's like we know, like we're seeing our beloved heroes like Captain America fight Red Guardian, which was probably one of the best things I've ever seen in the MCU. But we're seeing this, but then seeing like when Yelena had to sacrifice herself, when even Red Guardian stupidly ate the flesh that Wanda brought to New Asgard.
I ate a lot of fingers.
Yeah. Seeing that stuff, I was like, I'm still like emotionally like sad that these characters are leaving, even though it's like a cartoon version of them.
And it's also what if, a universe that doesn't necessarily matter.
But I think they did such a good job of keeping the like emotional stakes there. I was also, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that I wasn't expecting the death toll to get as high as it did, but in episode 1, watching Kate Bishop get fried to a crisp to bones in a second by zombie Captain Marvel.
Which was Valley of the Broken Gods is a banger of a name. But to have Icarus, who's an inorganic, immortal person, and Captain Marvel, who is also doesn't need to eat or anything, they've just been fighting for 5 years. And they say, don't go into the Valley of the Broken Gods because you're just in their path, is so cool. But yes, R.I.P. Kate Bishop.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, Broken Gods. That's heavy. Yeah. That's very cool.
I loved the effect, unfortunately, like how when she got killed, I thought it was such a cool effect because they used it a few times, that like white and red kind of flashing of vaporization of people. I think Blade got that way. Hulk showed that way a little bit. It was just really cool. I think the animation was really, really good.
Yeah, the animation was incredible. And I think with the animation that they really balanced kind of, they use the animation in both comedic ways and in serious ways. And so some of those deaths were pretty comedic. I mean, like you said, I agree. One of my favorite moments was the fight between Captain America and Red Guardian, watching him roll around like a wheel in that shield.
It was actually kind of scary too.
It was scary, but at the same time, hilarious.
Yeah.
You know? But I think that, yeah. And then Kate Bishop really kind of immediately being followed by Riri getting bitten and knowing that it's kind of over for her too. It was just like, oh, I see what we're doing here. So don't get attached to anyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kamala lost pretty much almost everybody that helped her get to where she needed to go. Is there any standout moment for you specifically in the 4 episodes?
Well, like I said, I think that Captain America fight was pretty darn phenomenal. I mean, it's not necessarily one standout moment, but I mean, they're listing him as Blade Knight, right? And I just thought that character was so cool. The mixing of these two kind of eternal life forms coming together, seeing how they would work. And honestly, I don't think they would have gotten as far as they did if they didn't have Blade Knight in there.
Well, no, at all. Right. Yeah. They had a literal god with them the whole time. Yeah.
And especially when Ghost appeared, I mean, that I was just like, how are they going to beat Ghost? You know, Ghost just keeps becoming a ghost.
Yeah. I think it was one of my favorite like standout moments. I love Infinity Hulk just completely standing against the horde that Wanda had made. I think that just visually looked amazing. I really liked Thor and Hulk's fight. I thought it just looked so cool. There's this moment where Hulk is, I believe, bleeding, but it looks black. But the way it trails behind him was so cool. It was like almost a different frame rate than the rest of them. I just loved it. I was like, this is bananas.
It was really beautiful. And just, I almost felt like when Infinity Hulk was on the screen, he was like, almost had a lack of detail to him, which made him otherworldly and godly, which I thought was a really cool choice with the rainbows running around him. One of my other favorite scenes was the Mad Max Shang-Chi scene.
It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre.
They're
like
just
that
like these-
group of them.
Yeah, these like road warriors just taking on the desert with their cows. R.I.P.
I love
the
Death
cows.
Dealer and Jimmy being like best friends. And we didn't hear a single line from Death Dealer, but we're like, they're best friends.
Well, it's like the one who doesn't stop talking and the one who never talks.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, they balance each other out.
I also liked Katie and Shang-Chi sharing the rings. I thought that was really, really clever to have her still be formidable in this world.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I also like the callback. So in Fantastic Four #2, there was this whole big thing about, I believe we talked about it. I don't remember what episode we did. Maybe it was Secret Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
Like before you watch Secret Invasion, I had mentioned in Fantastic Four #2, Skrulls disguise themselves as cows. So it was really funny in this for them to try to get cows. But then I was thinking, are there Skrulls disguising themselves as cows that then
get eaten?
Zemo's going to use to eat? Like, I have questions for this.
Freaking Zemo. You just can't trust the guy in whatever bizarre world you're living in. And also, of course, his little lackey is John Walker, which I thought was hilarious.
I'm glad he died the way he died. He died similar to how Captain America looks, which was really funny. All right. What did you think about the ending? So Wanda, zombie queen of the dead, needed to get the power from the Infinity Stones to supposedly, and this is what she said, heal the world. Now, to what extent, I don't know, but she needed Ms. Marvel to help her with that. Did you like the ending? Did it work for you?
Well, I guess I kind of lost track of what was going on at the end, to be completely honest with you, because I didn't realize I guess, because she was like whispering to her, right?
She saw visions and
I
stuff.
didn't put two and two together, but I thought the ending looked cool, but I think it felt like such a hopeless world.
Was that what they were going for? Like a bleak ending?
And that's what it felt like to me, right? It's like every time they tried something, even for the first 3 episodes, the entire point is for them to get into space to talk to the Nova Corps. And when they finally do, the Nova Corps is like, no, you're quarantined, baby. We're not here to help you. Like,
go back.
Bye. You can't have this spreading. So it just felt like there actually wasn't a way to do this. There wasn't a way to fix this. And so if it ended with Wanda just healing the world, but healing the world meant turning everyone into zombies, then that to me tracks.
Well, it was like, I'm just really curious about this, right? Because it is confusing because they didn't explain why she needed Kamala in the first place. Like we saw when she finally touched Hulk and got all the power that Kamala's powers mixed with hers in some way. But so Kamala saw the world as it should be, but realistically it's not. So it's almost like she put the entire world in a hex, but does that mean everybody's in a hex or just specific people? Because then she sees Riri telling her it's not real while she's fighting off zombies. So I think 2 things happened here. She hexed the world, right? And I don't think Riri's alive, but who knows how Kamala's powers actually work. We still don't get answers to that. But in her show, she went back in time and saw visions of the past. Now, was she actually there or not? I don't know. But maybe she went back to when Riri was fending off the horde and Riri's still helping her of like, it's not real. Don't listen to her. That's what I think the ending means, but it's very bleak. And it's like, okay, so nothing was fixed. We also have no answers. So it's like the House of M situation. Is there a season 2? If not, this does not work for me.
This one is just like, what if there were no heroes and everyone was a zombie?
You know? But also like the next step to that is like Okoye, who is like the scion for her, has like sentience. Like it seems like some of them get sentience back. What does this mean? Like they can make it seems like Namor made a deal with Zemo to like he feeds him, everybody's fine, but like so they're sentient enough to make deals, but not to stop eating people.
I think they're made sentient by Scarlet Witch.
Maybe.
I think when they have the red eyes, she gives them back some sort of control, but really to do her bidding. It's not like they're on their own, right? It's just she's almost the it was like with the widows, it was a technological takeover,
Right.
whereas
Science,
this is a mythical takeover.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to, in the original comics of Marvel Zombies, it's revealed that part of the zombie nature of it is the need to feed. And if you don't do it, you actually start reverting back. So it was like a twist in it, right? It's like, oh, if you curb the urge, you're not gonna
if
eat
you just
brains.
diet and exercise,
Right.
you can become a human again.
Right. Be stubborn and you won't be a zombie. So that's why I was trying to be like, is this what's happening here, or is it just Wanda? So I don't know. I do think that there's some weird like consistencies with everything, but whatever. It's a 4-episode miniseries. Yeah. I'm just curious if we're going to get another one, because I would like another one.
Yeah. I just thought that Kamala just was spending the afterlife with her besties getting boba.
Yeah, maybe.
But I guess the question is, though, is that if they did do a part 2, where does this leave us now?
No idea. I don't know who's alive and who's not.
Does Nova Corps have to come in to clean up the planet, or they just watch it, or
no, they don't care.
But that's what I mean. What is part 2 then? This is me just hypothesizing over what could possibly happen.
It's just because the story doesn't feel ended.
Right.
So it's very much
I agree with that.
Yeah. So curious if we'll get more. Yeah. So I think we liked it. We want more. If there's more, if not, then I guess, it's like what if and it's done.
What if there wasn't a second season?
Yeah. Let us know what you thought of Marvel Zombies. Did you have a favorite zombie? Did you have a favorite part? Do you want more? Did you understand the ending? I don't think we did.
But it might just be what it is.
Yeah. All right. Till next time.
Bye.